Let's do it.
This is the SEC Insider Hit. And it's presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue.
Good morning. Welcome in. Ole Miss, Kentucky tonight at 8 o'clock. I just put that together for my buddies up there, Dole and PK. It's a 9 o'clock tip, Lexington time. I didn't know they let them. I mean, I get that we have 8 o'clock games, but they're usually in Starkville or Oxford or Fayetteville or Texas A&M or LSU. These are Central Time tips.
Right.
Okay. That's a long time to wait, man. I mean, NBA doesn't, NBA doesn't usually tip off that late. I guess maybe they do on the West Coast for LA and Portland and Golden State, but no, thank you. Anyway, 8 o'clock's late enough for me, but it's a 9 o'clock tip. Man, there'll be some Ole Miss and Kentucky fans that will be in rare form. Need to eat a big din. Big dinner. Get some of that bread in you if you're going to be sipping on bourbon. They're going to Buffalo Trace in about 30 minutes to an hour.
Wow.
So, yeah, we're going to, I don't know. I'll have to talk to Kevin. But we're going to pick out a Russell's Reserve barrel, which is under the Wild Turkey umbrella, and also Wilderness Trail this year. So, by the way, Briarwood Wine and Spirits and Nate Dogg. I went by to see Nate Dogg yesterday at Briarwood Wine and Spirits, and they still have some of the Wilderness Trail bourbon private barrel select. And it's delicious. I told you I gave some bottles out for Christmas, but they still have some Wilderness Trail private barrel selection, barrel picks right there at Briarwood Wine and Spirits, 4949 Old Canton Road. So, good morning. Welcome in. We are the Out of Bounds Show. I'm your host, Bo Bounds. Thank you for going to Apple Podcast or Spotify, searching Out of Bounds with Bo Bounds. Apple Podcast, Spotify, searching Out of Bounds with Bo Bounds. Tom Luganbill and Jackson Dart is on there. Dan Fouts, Hall of Fame San Diego Charger quarterback, was great yesterday. He's on there. Bianco Lamonis. And if you want to keep on going back, Jeff Lebby. So we've got, Mike Detillier on the Saints. Jeff Duncan was great yesterday. Talked Hall of Fame voting. And Patrick Willis. He said it was easy for him as far as Patrick Willis going into the Hall of Fame. We talked about Eli Manning will be on the ballot next year. We'll drop that audio in a minute. Don't let me forget.
I got you.
And so there's Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Load it up. Search Out of Bounds with Bo Bounds. Hope my buddies in Lexington have a great time today. And then the game tonight, Kentucky's an 8.5-point favorite. But I was thinking about this morning, and that is, and by the way, your SEC Insider Hit is brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue, the official healthcare provider of the Out of Bounds Show. But if there was ever a time to get Kentucky, it's now. Couple things. Y'all remember when I mentioned over 6 weeks ago that they couldn't guard a phone booth?
Yeah.
All right. And they can. And then now they can score. No doubt about that. And they just played a close game against the Zags at home. They've lost 3 in a row since first time since the Roaring 20s.
At home.
At home. 3 in a row at home. They're barely ranked in the top 25. They're 25th in the net power rankings. Okay? And I think Mississippi State's 36. Ole Miss is 58th or something. But I'm thinking about this. Ole Miss has had a week to get their legs under them. They didn't play over the weekend. Kentucky just played Gonzaga and lost by 89-85, I think it was. I didn't watch all the game, but I caught some of it. And yes, I love Dillingham, and Reeves can score, and their 3 guards are their 3 leading scorers, and that's what you want today when you look at 3-point scoring efficiency compared to 2-point scoring efficiency and so on. But I was thinking about this. That's a quick turnaround for Kentucky, and Ole Miss is coming off a 7-day layoff. If there was ever a time to get them in Rupp, which is rare, they've already lost their last 2 in Rupp.
Last 3.
3. And they're coming off a short They just played on Saturday. They got to play tonight. I can't believe it's a 9 o'clock tip Eastern time, 8 o'clock here. I did not put all that together until, I guess, yesterday. We're live in the BankPlus Studio, out of bounds, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Matthew Morrell will have to be unbelievable. Flanagan, Murray, even Caldwell, I think, and Brakefield will have to. I mean, you're just going to have to get people chipping in everywhere. But they don't guard, so Beard knows that. The better coach, actually, the better X's and O's coach is Ole Miss. Mm-hmm. Kentucky has more talent, and they're really good on the perimeter, where Ole Miss is good. So, and then actually Kentucky does have some post players. Shepard's intriguing to me too. Just kind of the way he plays stylistically. I like watching him play. He's when he gets going. That's what you don't want to happen, because when he gets going, then it could be Katie bar the door. So we'll kind of see what shakes out there. Could be Beard's the better coach. Calipari is enjoying wasting his talent. He's kind of the Jimbo Fisher of college basketball. Are you okay with that?
I am. I'm not okay with you saying if there's ever a time, it's now. Because anytime you say that about Ole Miss, usually they don't get it done. And that's saying it as an Ole Miss fan. Every time we say,
okay, well, that's what we're talking about, the 2020. If there's ever a time to win the national championship, it's now.
Yeah.
For football.
Exactly. And that's why I don't like it when people say that. Because the same
then
thing.
I'm going to say it all offseason. If there's any time for Ole Miss to win a national championship in football, they raised 12 to 15 plus million in NIL. They paid everybody in there, even tried to pay Quinshawn, but brought pretty much everybody back except Judkins. Added pieces and have a manageable schedule.
Yeah.
If there's ever a time.
I hate it, though, because you say that about, say, Alabama looks down this year. If there's ever a time to get Alabama, it's right now. Can't get it done. If there's ever a time,
they were down last year.
Yeah, they were.
So was Georgia.
But I mean, when I
don't expect them to either one of those or Ohio. In fact, I think Ohio State's going to be filthy. And with Chip Kelly leaving UCLA, they upgraded over Bill O'Brien at the offensive coordinator position, and I expect Ohio State to be nasty. But if there was ever a time in Oxford, you've got the best play caller you've ever had in the history of Ole Miss football. You got one of the most talented quarterbacks. He's very talented. He's also fortunate. He's got an incredible offensive coach, QB coach and coordinator. Not taking anything away from his talent. You got some nice pieces around him. You don't have A.J. Brown level,
right,
okay?
Right.
I mean, there is a difference. You don't have Julio Jones, A.J. Brown, some of the guys, Jamar, Jefferson, some of the guys that have been through LSU. But you got collectively a very, very nice group of players. Mm-hmm. You did take a step back. I mean, you're not just going to magically replace Judkins. But you did add some pieces. Bentley's coming back, da-da-da-da-da. So, and then on the defensive side of the football, let me see. Is he the best defensive? If he's not the best, he's one of the best defensive play callers you've ever had in the history of the program. So as far as play calling duo, if you put them together, Kiffin and Golding, they're the most talented play callers duo you've ever had in the history of your program. And the trial attorneys, give them credit. They're locked in. They read the tea leaves. They read the room. They put their money where their mouth is, and then they went out and got more money. And you funded what looks like a hell of a football team. Now, somebody asked here, is this team, as far as talent stratification, is it the most talented team in the history of Ole Miss? I don't know. It's either got to be 15 or this year. But I got to see it on the field. So we'll see. Chad Kelly, Kimdichie, Laquan, and, Tunzel's still the best offensive lineman to ever play at Ole Miss. And then there's some other pieces. Yeah. Tony Connor, pre-injury, was unbelievable. Evan Ingram, unbelievable first-round pick.
Attaboyjo was great at Ole Miss.
Attaboyjo, Hilton, so it could be, But 14 and 15, as far as talent strat, was really high. So we'll see. That's what's going to be fun.
But that's what I'm talking about, expectations. Do you remember after 2014, after Ole Miss beat Alabama, and then Ole Miss beat Alabama in 2015, the expectations of, college football playoffs, here we come. If there's ever a time, it's now. I mean, in both of those years that Ole Miss beat Alabama, you lose to teams that you're not supposed to lose to.
I know. I don't understand it, especially the 15 team.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you lost to Memphis and Arkansas.
4th and 28?
With 26, I think.
4th and 26?
But who's counting?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Arkansas was.
Well,
they were counting. And
that's still the flukiest play I think I've ever seen in my life. Because the ball is an oblong object. It doesn't bounce the way it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it bounced right into the running back's hand.
The fastest guy on the field. R.I.P., by the way. Because he did pass away a few months ago.
I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
But I just remember in that play, even that game, even after that happened, Ole Miss stopped them at the goal line, and Robert Kimdichie face masked, and so they got another 4 downs.
Oh God, you're right. I remember that.
And then they got in.
Yeah.
I mean, like if there's
that team was loaded.
Yes,
loaded. Who is your tailback? Walton?
I think it was Walton.
Jalen, was it Jalen Walton?
Jalen Walton
was a great college player. He could make all kinds of amazing plays, running and catching the ball. I think he played some special teams too and hurt some people's feelings.
Yeah,
I know he hurt Mississippi State.
Jalen Walton, and then we had Jordan Wilkins at the time. You remember him?
He ended up playing in the NFL for the Colts and someone else. Yeah, and Jordan was a hell of a player.
Maybe the Texans too.
Okay. All right. The Out of Bounds Show, SEC Insider Hit, is brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue, the official healthcare provider of the Out of Bounds Show. I want to thank you for going to Apple Podcast or Spotify and searching Out of Bounds with Bo Bounds. All right, we got a giveaway, and we got some audio on Eli Manning. Okay, so I got to set the table here. Do we have time? Oh, we got plenty of time. All right. Let's take a deep breath. Let's give out the John Deere Tractor Ag Up Equipment text line, 601, because you're going to need it to enter to possibly win. 601-885-3776. I've got, because Ole Miss is playing in Kentucky, and 2 of my buddies are up there on the trip. And they went to Tony's last night. They're going to a bourbon distillery today, and they're going to have a blast. We're giving away 6 Russell's Reserve bourbon glasses. They are really cool. Really, really cool. They're the short ones, okay?
Yeah.
They're not Glencairn, but they're, I don't know what you call them. I actually drink out of that size at home, believe it or not, because they give them to us, so I take them home.
No doubt.
Okay. So anyway, we're giving away, it's a box of 6. It'll be great for you and your buddies as y'all try different bourbons this spring, college basketball, March Madness, the Masters, the NFL Draft, and what's happening this weekend, college baseball. With Mississippi State and Ole Miss, all right? So we've got all this sports ahead of us, all this fun stuff, and we're giving this away. Now, you wanted to do something fun wrapped around, we're doing this because of Mardi Gras and Ole Miss and my buddies up in Lexington for the Ole Miss game tonight in Bourbon Country.
Right.
That's why it's brought to you by Russell's Reserve. If I had Wilderness Trail bourbon glasses, I would do them, but we'll have them at some point. All right, go ahead.
So what I was thinking with Kentucky and with the game happening tonight, and we were talking about how much money is up in Lexington.
It's filthy.
Yeah. I had no clue about this.
No. The economy in Lexington and Louisville is off the charts.
Absurd.
And they can't make enough bourbon right now. And because of the wealth boom the last 30 years, maybe 40 in the world, they've got people flying in from Asia and the Middle East and South America and then all over the country who breed and stable horses there. So, and they're flying in on jets that you can stand up in and sleep on. Go ahead.
So I was thinking, in order to play into that, if you text in 601-885-3776 on the Ag Up Equipment text line, send in your idea. If you had a horse, what would the best name for your horse be? And I came up with a few. I gave you a few over there. You want to read some of them off?
Yeah. Let's make sure that our listeners know that you did this,
Yes.
the Ole Miss alum.
The Ole Miss guy. I did it because it's funny.
Okay.
And because some of these get people riled up.
Okay.
And that's why I thought it'd be a good idea.
All right. And you want funny horse names from our listeners since Ole Miss is in bourbon country and horse country.
Exactly. And the funnier and the more, I guess.
Crazy.
Yeah, the crazier and the more it relates to what we can talk about, say SEC, NFL, whatever.
All right. Here we go. This is Jason's list. Ole Miss alum Jason's list. Tony the Land Shark.
Not a bad name.
Which are we on YouTube?
We are.
If you're watching on YouTube right now, search Out of Bounds Sports. Jason put up a picture of Tony the Land Shark on one of our TVs today, powered by USA Pawn. This one's good. Sam Pittman's chest. That's pretty funny. Pittman looks like a guy who could still, even at his age, bench press like 480.
Somebody said,
that dude, like if you were trying to like crack his chest cavity, it would take like, I'm trying to think, a steel saw or something.
a crowbar.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
He's just one of those guys. He is pork chop driven, thick, and I just, what do you cut concrete with?
Oh, jackhammer.
That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
You need a jackhammer to get through his chest.
Yeah, Sam Pittman, he's built like Mrs. Doubtfire. That's
wow.
He's built like.
Robin Williams did have a chest.
Yeah, Robin. Well, I mean, he's just got the build, man.
And he had these bare hands, like huge hands.
Yeah.
And maybe Pittman does too. All right. Other horse names. Coach Ogeron's accent.
That's not bad.
Hugh Freeze's burner phone.
There we go.
Again, this is Jason's list. And the last one, 2003 SEC West champs.
Come on. If that's not original. If that's not an original horse name, what is?
What is Nick? All right, Ag Up Equipment text line, driven by your next John Deere tractor at any Ag Up Equipment dealership. 601-885-3776. Text us with a funny horse name. That's how you enter, and you could win these 6 Russell's Reserve bourbon glasses that are really nice. I can't believe I'm giving them away.
Mm-hmm.
I actually debated it.
I know.
And then I thought, okay, I'll give them away.
We've got great
We've got
listeners.
2 more sets or 3 more sets back there, but I'm still kind of, we're giving away a lot of stuff.
Are we too nice? Is that what it is?
Has anybody ever said that about me?
that Bo Bounds guy? He's too nice. I'm okay.
Yeah. What is Nick saying on the text line?
So Nick said lane equestrian.
Okay.
So like equestrian.
Yeah.
But lane equestrian. So
Okay.
that one's not bad. I like somebody said Connor Stallion. Connor Stallion's name for the horse.
I love that. For our listeners, he's the one that allegedly was stealing signs for Michigan football and going to other stadiums. And, you know, he's an Ivy League graduate or something. I think he went to Yale, but he's from a big Michigan fan. It was a great story. And the Big Ten pearl clutched on it.
Yeah, they did.
Kind of like Mississippi State alums in NIL. And the Big Ten and Ohio State did some pearl clutching, and Michigan still went undefeated. Which wasn't that beautiful?
Yeah, no.
Loved it.
But some of these are good. I mean, Golding Sharp Bait for Pete Golding.
Oh.
I like that one.
Maybe the best defensive coordinator you've ever had?
I think so. I mean, I think he's up there.
I'm trying to think. I mean, Jolie Dunn went through there. What was it? Dave Womack was good for, I mean, you know, all things considered, I think under Freeze. I mean, they had one really, really good year on the defensive side of the football. Did Cutt ever have? I'm not thinking of a really Tuberville. Tuberville was a defensive-minded coach, but he was one of the few that understood offense. All right, text line 601-885-3776. Anything else?
I don't like War Eagle Rich. We're not friends at the moment.
Why?
He said, Ole Miss horse name, unrealistic expectation. Come on, man.
Wow.
I thought we were cool.
He's taking shots. Let's switch gears. All right, so enter in. Maybe you can win, and we'll pick out the best one. And you get 6 Russell's Reserve bourbon glasses, which are fabulous. You ready for the audio?
Let's do it.
Jeff Duncan, NOLA.com, close to the Mannings. Got the only exclusive with Arch Manning as a senior on The Athletic. Jeff Duncan talked about Eli Manning and whether or not he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
No, I don't think he'll get in first ballot. And I think because it's not strictly about Super Bowls, I think we've kind of gotten to that point I don't think anybody looked at Eli Manning when he played, as great as he was, and said he's the best quarterback in the NFL ever. I don't know if he ever was. And I don't even know if you'd say he was the best quarterback in the NFC during his period. He played great in the Super Bowl, and that counts for something. That's part of the matrix. But I don't think it's the end-all, be-all. And just like Jim Plunkett, who won 2 Super Bowls, is still not in the Hall of Fame. Now, I would argue Eli had a better career than Plunkett overall, but I think Eli's going to have to wait. But he's definitely going to get in. There's no doubt in my mind.
That was Jeff Duncan, covered the NFL for over 25 years, Saints Insider, NOLA.com, and his thoughts on Eli Manning will not be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Jason, did that make you mad?
I don't know. It's like I see where he's coming from. It doesn't make me mad, but it does make me look at some quarterbacks or some players that have made the Hall of Fame on their first try and some that didn't. And I think Eli, I think he's a coin toss. I mean, I think it'd be reasonable to see him go first ballot, and then I could see him not go first ballot, go second. You know, I already had my heart broken with Jared Allen. He didn't get in.
For our
over the
listeners,
weekend.
that's a defensive lineman from the Minnesota Vikings.
Whoa, that's downplaying it. Jared Allen was a defensive end that had the best Fu Manchu in the NFL.
True.
He also had a mullet.
He was awesome on, what game was that? Was it Madden or Tecmo Bowl or something? I don't know.
Madden. He was amazing in Madden, and he also had like a 3.5 sack game against Aaron Rodgers his first year starting for Green Bay. So that's,
Did he really?
That's really what made me fall in love with him. It was Monday Night Football.
Did you enjoy, as a Vikings fan, did you enjoy hating Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah. And the Saints. I mean, it's fun to. It actually is. I know that we have a lot of Saints fans listening. It actually is fun to hate on the Saints.
Well, Blake did it too. It's weird that I've gone back-to-back producers. Blake was harsher, but the fact that you just said that, I kind of like it because it may draw some kind of reaction, which is what we want. But you liked it when the Vikings, what was it called? The Minnesota Miracle?
Yeah, Minnesota Miracle. And the only reason the Saints won that NFC championship is we're out here cheating. We're out here, having bounties on heads, trying to break Brett Favre's spine. If it wasn't for that, we'd have a ring. We would have beat Peyton Manning. Come on. We win that game.
Who was your... Oh, it was Brett.
Team was stacked.
Favre.
Adrian Peterson, Percy Harvin.
Adrian Peterson.
I mean, we were stacked.
Oh, that's right. Harvin was on that team.
Yeah. That's right after Florida. I mean, that's like 2 years after he got out.
Okay. Dan Mullen always said he was the most talented football player he ever coached. And, I mean, I want you to think about all the guys that went through Florida.
Yeah. Jeez. And he wasn't even in Swamp Kings. That's what I wanted to see.
Did he not make it in Swamp Kings?
Mm-hmm. It's all about Tim Tebow.
Well, that's a good point. We are the Out of Bounds Show. We're driven by your next Ford F-150 truck at Mack Hike Ford, I-55 North in Jackson. Pre-owned or new. Good morning. Welcome in. We'll give you the who's coming up as far as guests. And we've got more audio, too, to jump into.